We now know that a former Denver police officer who was killed during an attack on a hospital in Pennsylvania actually died from friendly fire from another officer. Andrew Dwarte responded to a hostage situation at a hospital outside Harrisburg, PA in February. Prosecutor revealed today that Dwarte was hit by a shotgun blast fired by a fellow officer. Another officer was seriously hurt. The suspect was killed. Dwarte served with DPD from 2017 to 2022.
West York Patrolman Andrew Dwarte lost his life during a siege that happened at a Pennsylvania hospital. You are going to hear the prosecutor give part of his briefing. He gave an hour-long briefing, but I've only got like 7 minutes of it because it's 7 minutes that tell what happened to Patrolman Dwarte. This member of law enforcement was taken out by one of his own. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is for one simple fact. You are in a hostage situation. Yes, they kept stressing the hostage was not hit, but I want you to think about something. They're using shotguns and they're not using slugs. They're using regular shotgun shells. Any of y'all that use firearms will know why I am making that difference. If you don't know shotguns, well, we'll talk about it after you hear this rather long but very detailed explanation as to what happened to Patrolman Dwarte and another officer, by the way. There was another officer that was hit by this shotgun.
Howdy, y'all. This is Paul, the Redneck Thinker. What we have here is a channel to communicate. I want you folks to be thinking by the time you leave my videos. Why? Because I'm tired of people talking via what other people tell them to think. So, watch my video and enjoy the chance to think for yourself.
The officers that were in their tactical positions immediately created a reactionary gap and backed up in order to take full recognition and to make full determinations of the hostage situation that was in front of them. Every officer to a person stated that they were not going to discharge their firearm unless they believed that they had a clear and present opportunity to strike the actor and not strike the hostage. Officers from both sides of the doorway begin to fire. The first officers to fire were the ones with the most direct line of vision. Those were the officers from the left side who had the direct line of vision of the hostage and were able to fire swiftly and truly at the actor. Then officers, and this is occurring in real time in a matter of half seconds to seconds, with decisions needing to be made with incredible precision, proceed to fire from the right side. One such round from a shotgun that is fired by an officer who is positioned closest to the wall on the right side strikes the actor in the back upper shoulder area on the left side. Pellet from this shotgun shot also strikes the wall. No pellet strikes the hostage as the shot is pulled to where it would strike the actor or nothing else next to the actor, and not the hostage. As the shot is fired, one projectile strikes the lead officer on the left side of the door, holding the shield. In his right hand, he held his firearm, his handgun. The projectile, the shot, hits his right hand and travels into his arm. At that point, Officer Andrew Dwarte is diagonal and slightly behind to the officer with the shield. He is turned slightly to the left, and he is aiming at his target, being the actor, to free the hostage. Two-shot strike Officer Dwarte. One shot strikes him in the left arm and goes across his chest. The other strikes him at the left side chest area, at the mesh area, where his tactical protective vest would not have coverage, and strikes him at the mesh and goes across his chest. A third officer on the left side also is struck in the leg from another shot. It is unknown if this shot was a through and through, meaning has gone completely through the actor, or was one of the wounds that struck the actor and struck the officer in the leg. We do know that from the final count, there were 22, including the shotgun shell discharged cartridge. There were 22 cartridges that were found of rifles, one 9mm, and one shotgun cartridge. The actor was struck between 15 to 20 times. It's difficult to be more precise due to the nature of the injuries and which ones were passed through or were not. But conservatively, it would be 15 times. The hostage was not struck once. Again, as I stated previously, every officer stated to a person they would not discharge their firearm if they thought they were going to strike the hostage. She was not struck. At this point in time, the officer who is struck in the hand and arm and Officer Dwarte, they proceed around the corner into another hallway. There's a hallway that is near where the left entrance is of the ICU. They proceed back into that hallway as well as some other officers. Officer Dwarte realizes he's hit and says so. He then proceeds forward down the hallway back towards the ICU. When he gets to the corner of the ICU, to go into that hallway, he sees the officer who was struck in the leg down. That officer, at this point, is now being pulled by another officer. Officer Dwarte leans over to the officer who is down and now is starting to be moved. Officer Dwarte then, after leaning down towards that officer, succumbs to his injuries and collapses on the ground.
So, for those of y'all that aren't familiar with shotguns, and, well, I'm a redneck and I've fired a few here and there. Um, Regular shotgun has multiple little balls in it, little shots inside of them, little pellets, and they spread out. And my thought process in all of this is, why, during a hostage situation, are you using something that once you pull the trigger, you ain't going to be able to give a 100% thought process as to where everything's going? You're not going to be 100% certain as to where all of the pellets of the shotgun shell are going. Now, if you're using a slug, it's like a regular bullet for those of y'all that don't know this. But seriously, why would you use a shotgun in this? I don't even. This officer gave his life because common sense was not used in this situation. I would have said use an AR. I'm not a fan of the AR. Not because, for y'all that love the AR, I'm saying it because I've just never liked the AR. If I'm going to use a rifle, I'm going to use a Remington and Winchester. I'm going to use a rifle. I like just the old school kind of rifles. Call me old, but I don't like the M16. It sucks. And I don't like the AR because, well, they both are Tonka toys, in my opinion. But people love the ARs, and they are effective. Personal preference only when I say I don't like the AR. But here's the bit of it. If they had been using an AR, if they had been using an M16, an M4, if they had been using a regular rifle for that matter, Patrolman Dwarte would still be with us. If common sense had been used as to what kind of weapons were necessary for this kind of situation, and you can't tell me that a shotgun was an appropriate weapon for this situation. And you heard the explanation from York County District Attorney Tim Barker. That is the name of the gentleman that gave that long explanation. I made this video so I could say, hey, folks, we need to change the policy if this is what the policy is, because no, that was not a good choice. I I can't stress it enough. This was a bad decision. But hey, this is just some redneck thinking. This has been Paul, the Redneck Thinker. Y'all have a good day now. Bye. So, folks, that's the story that I wanted to bring you on this video. And I just wanted to say thank you again for coming by. Hit like, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff if you don't mind. Help me out. So, y'all have a good day now. Bye.